Welcome to Engineering Out Loud, part of MECHESOL's MESP Management Development Program. This episode provides an overview of ISO standards training. Want to boost your engineering career? Then stick around because understanding ISO standards is non-negotiable. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in learning more about, check out MECHESOL's website for more details on their continuing professional development programs. Just visit mechesolco.com/CPD. Okay, so I've got a ton of materials on ISO standards training here, and to be honest, it's a lot to digest. But luckily, we've got expert speaker with us today to break it all down. So expert speaker, what's the big deal with ISO standards? What's the one thing you wish everyone knew about them?
It's interesting because a lot of people see them as just another set of rules, but really they're more like a common language for quality management. When a company is ISO certified, it's a signal to everyone, customers, stakeholders, investors, that they're serious about consistently delivering top-notch products and services that meet customer needs and all the regulatory requirements too. It's a mark of credibility.
So it's like a stamp of approval that instantly boosts credibility, kind of like winning an industry award, but for quality management. And this training module we're looking at today focuses on ISO 9001.2015, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like the gold standard for quality management systems. Am I right?
You're exactly right. ISO 9001.2015 lays out the criteria for building a really solid QMS, or quality management system.
Okay, so this module is all about ISO 9001.2015. And looking through the materials, I can see it's really comprehensive. It covers everything from the basics of what a QMS is all the way to actually conducting audits.
And it's designed to take you step by step, so you could start with very little knowledge about ISO 9001.2015, and by the end, have a really strong understanding of the standard and be able to apply it.
And speaking of applying it, one thing I noticed is that the training uses a variety of methods. It's not just death by PowerPoint. They've got case studies, group discussions, even hands-on exercises to really help people understand and internalize the concepts.
Absolutely. It's all about practical application. And it aligns with the UK Spec competency framework.
UK Spec, can you tell us a bit more about what that is and how it connects to this training?
Sure. So UK Spec is basically the framework for professional engineering registration in the UK. So let's say you want to become a chartered engineer. This training can actually help you on that path.
Now that's what I'm talking about, tangible benefits. I love that it links directly to career advancement. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's back up a bit for anyone who might be completely new to this. What exactly are ISO standards and why should anyone care?
That's a great question. You can think of ISO standards like a globally recognized set of guidelines for quality management systems. When an organization achieves ISO certification, they're basically proving to the world that their operations meet these strict international standards.
Okay, so it's a way for organizations to demonstrate their commitment to quality, not just to themselves, but to everyone. And for anyone who wants to learn more about this ISO 9001.2015 training seems like a great place to start. In fact, if you're ready to take the next step and apply what you've learned about ISO standards to really level up your skill set, you can visit mechesolco.com/CPD to register for MECHESOL's Management Development Program.
It really is a big deal. It's about, like building trust, making things more efficient, and just always trying to be better, striving for that excellence.
Okay, I'm getting that it's important, but let's maybe break it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like for someone like me, an engineer, what are the actual tangible benefits? How would I use this ISO stuff in my everyday work?
And that's exactly what this training module does. It doesn't just throw the standard at you and expect you to figure it out. It really gets into the practical stuff, like how to actually use it. For example, it breaks down the standard into these things called clauses, with each clause focusing on a different part of a quality management system.
Clauses. That sounds kind of, I don't know, a little intimidating. Can you give me an example of what one of these clauses might be about and how it actually translates into, doing something in the real world?
Yeah, for sure. So let's take Clause 8. Just as an example, Clause 8 is all about operation, which basically means making sure you're doing things right consistently and effectively. It covers everything from planning and controlling your operations to managing your resources and even how to handle it when things go wrong, when you have those uh-oh moments.
So it's about having systems in place to, like, catch mistakes and then figure out how to make sure they don't happen again.
Exactly. Building quality into every single step.
That makes sense. And this module walks you through how to actually do that.
Yeah, it gives you a practical framework you can use in your work. And the best part is it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what your specific role is, you can still apply it.
That's really interesting. I'm starting to see how valuable this training could be really for anyone who's involved in making or delivering a product or a service. But kind of switching gears a little, I know this module doesn't just cover the what of ISO 9001.20110. It also gets into the how, especially when it comes to audits.
Exactly. Audits are a really important part of keeping a strong quality management system, making sure it's working the way it should. Think of it like a health check for your system. This module takes you through the whole audit process, from planning to reporting, even down to how to implement what are called corrective actions.
So it's like a continuous cycle of planning, doing, checking, and then improving.
You got it. And that's the great thing about ISO 9001.2015. It's a framework for continuous improvement, for always pushing yourself to be better. And, for anyone listening who's interested in this kind of practical hands-on training, you can check out MECHESOL's website at mechesolco.com/CPC. They've got a ton of great information there, including details about their management development program, which goes even deeper into these concepts. But anyway, getting back to the module, one of the things I find really helpful is that it includes case studies from companies like, big names like Samsung, Toyota, even the U.S. Air Force, all using ISO 9001.2015 with some really amazing results.
It's one thing to talk about the theory, but it's way more powerful to see how it's actually being used in the real world by
Yeah.
real companies.
Yeah, absolutely. It really brings it to life. Seeing how these companies are actually using ISO 9001.2015 and the real impact it's had. Exactly. And these aren't just cherry-picked examples. The module includes companies from different industries, big and small, all of them using ISO 9001.201 and seeing positive results like better efficiency, happier customers, even, a boost to their profits.
Right. So it's not just some theoretical thing. It actually makes a difference to the bottom line.
Exactly. And that's a really important point. Implementing a good quality management system isn't just about, ticking boxes. It's about really changing how organizations work and the value they're able to deliver.
So it's not just a nice to have. It's more like a must have for companies that are serious about succeeding these days.
Absolutely. And the knowledge and skills you get from this ISO 9001.2015 training, well, you can use those to help make that happen in your own organization. It's about becoming a quality champion, leading the way.
Now, that's something I think a lot of people would be excited about. But, we've been talking about the benefits for organizations, but what about for individuals? Let's say someone takes this training, they're really engaged, they're learning a lot. How does that translate into, actual career growth for them?
Well, for one thing, having that ISO 9001.2014 certification on your resume, it's a huge plus. It shows potential employers that you understand quality management, that you have the skills to not just learn it, but actually put it into practice, build a QMS, maintain it, that you're all about that continuous improvement mindset.
So it's not just about knowing the standard, it's about having the skills to use it.
Yes. Exactly. And those skills are in high demand. Companies want people who can come in and help them streamline their processes, make things more efficient, and achieve that consistent level of quality. This training, it gives you the tools to be that person.
To be that go-to expert.
Exactly.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, I have to say. I feel like I've learned a lot about ISO standards, why they matter, and the impact they can have. So for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, I'm interested, where do I sign up? Where can they go to learn more about this ISO 9001.201 training?
MECHESOL's website is the best place to start. They've got all the information there about the training, about their management development program, and just a ton of great resources, really, to help you on your quality management journey. Just go to mechesolco.com/CPD.
That's mechesolco.com/CPD.
We've covered a lot of ground today, what ISO standards are, why they're so important, how this training can really give your career a boost, and we even got into some real-world examples of companies using these standards to achieve amazing results. But for me, the biggest takeaway is how knowing about ISO standards and how to apply them, it's not just about ticking boxes, it's about building a culture of quality, of always striving to be better in any field, in any role. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.